Edward Klein, Blood Feud, The Clintons versus the Obamas. Dive into the world of political rivalries, revenge, and intrigue as we explore the summary of Blood Feud, The Clintons versus the Obamas by Edward Klein. This book delves into the deep enmity between these two powerful political families and how they try to outmaneuver each other at every step. Discover the inception of their animosity during the 2008 presidential election campaigns and how it has culminated into a fierce battle with high stakes. As you read, learn about the cunning tactics employed by the Clintons to capitalize on Obama's failings, and how the Obamas have responded in kind.
Bitter rivalries, Obamas and Clintons. The rivalry between the Clinton and Obama families can be traced back to the 2008 presidential election. Both families share a deep-seated animosity towards each other that stems from perceived slights and political maneuvering during the race. Bill Clinton felt personally attacked by Obama's insinuations of racism and lack of significance compared to other great presidents. Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton harbored resentment towards Obama for undermining her character during their primary contest. The Obamas have also viewed the Clintons as racially insensitive and morally dubious due to past comments and questionable associations. The Clinton-Obama rivalry has psychological roots dating back to the 2008 election season when Bill Clinton saw Obama as the instigator of a hit job, accusing him of racism. Additionally, Obama disregarded Bill's accomplishments, comparing him unfavorably to Ronald Reagan. Adding insult to injury, Obama bypassed Bill for advice during his campaign, infuriating the former president who had been sought out by others like George W. Bush. The rivalry extends to Hillary Clinton as well. During the 2008 Democratic primaries, Obama's campaign undermined Hillary's reliability, implying that her decisions were swayed purely by political ambitions. This perceived betrayal intensified Hillary's animosity towards Obama. She publicly called him incompetent and untrustworthy at a 2013 event. The Obamas, for their part, felt that the Clintons displayed racial insensitivity and lacked moral integrity. Bill Clinton was once reported by Senator Ted Kennedy to have derogatorily said about Obama, "A few years ago, this guy would be getting us coffee." Michelle Obama also holds a long-standing grudge against Hillary after learning about her aggressive attack on Edward Brooke, the first African-American U.S. Senator, during her time at Wellesley College. Moreover, the Obamas feel that Bill's private jet escapades and questionable business dealings, such as with Vinod Gupta, reveal a morally compromised character. All these incidents combine to create a potent and enduring rivalry between the two powerhouses of American politics, the Obamas and the Clintons. Unlikely allies, Obama and Clinton. When Obama's approval ratings were dwindling in August 2011, he had to make a challenging decision, to seek support from Bill Clinton, despite their differences. With Oprah Winfrey withdrawing her support for Obama, his advisors were divided about turning to Clinton. Valerie Jarrett felt that Clinton was impossible to manage and would demand too much in return, while David Plouffe saw Clinton's popularity as a necessity to triumph over the Republicans. Ultimately, Obama sided with Plouffe, keeping in mind he could abandon any deal made with Clinton later on. There comes a time when we have to rely on people we may not admire, and this is even more apparent in the realm of politics. Picture this: President Obama is in a tough spot back in August 2011. His approval ratings have dipped to a meager 41%, and many previous supporters, including the influential Oprah Winfrey, have withdrawn their backing. She had expected special access to the White House after her endorsement of Obama in 2008, but that promise was unfulfilled. With Oprah's support off the table, the Oprah effect was out of the equation for Obama. What could he do to regain his footing? The answer came in the form of the charismatic Bill Clinton, but seeking his assistance wasn't a straightforward decision. Among Obama's advisors, Valerie Jarrett vehemently opposed reaching out to Clinton, expressing her concerns about his unpredictable nature, manipulative tendencies, and the high likelihood he'd demand significant favors in exchange for his support. On the other hand, David Plouffe believed that Clinton's immense popularity could be the key to successfully combating the Republicans. Moreover, Clinton had a knack for connecting with white, working-class voters who didn't respond as enthusiastically to Obama's messages. Weighing both sides, Obama opted to move forward with Plouffe's strategy, but Jarrett's words didn't go unheard. He resolved that if things got out of hand, he could always renege on whatever deal he made with Clinton post-election. As demonstrated by this episode, sometimes we must put our reservations aside to work with potential allies, no matter how complex the relationship may be. The adage, "Keep your friends close and your enemies closer," can ring true, especially in the world of politics. Clinton's double-edged support. Over a friendly game of golf, Obama persuaded Clinton to support his re-election, also ensuring his backing of Hillary in 2016. Clinton played a significant role in defending Obama's economic policies, leveraging the trust he built during his own presidency. Despite his outward show of support for Obama, Clinton ultimately used his influence to promote his own interests, carefully crafting a speech that boosted Obama but simultaneously undermined his achievements. Barack Obama cleverly secured Bill Clinton's assistance for his re-election campaign by stoking the former president's ego and assuring his support for Hillary's presidential run 4 years later. A vital part of Clinton's role was to convince voters that the floundering economy was not Obama's fault. This task was particularly important as the majority of eligible voters viewed Obama's economic policies, known as Obamanomics, as a failure. With credibility derived from his own tenure as president, where he maintained a balanced budget and even generated a surplus, Clinton had significant sway over public opinion on economic matters. He demonstrated this power during a Virginia campaign stop, where he rebutted critics of Obama's economic policy, arguing that recovery from housing bubble-induced economic crises typically took at least a decade. Thus, he portrayed Obama as ahead of schedule rather than lagging behind. However, Clinton's dual motives became increasingly apparent as he began utilizing his influence for his own purposes. A prime example of this was his speech at the 2012 Democratic National Convention, where he was tasked with nominating Obama. Instead of presenting an accurate portrayal, Clinton painted Obama as a centrist Democrat, resembling his own presidency more so than Obama's progressive stance. This subtle maneuver reinforced the Democratic policy platform that the Clintons represented. As political commentators, such as Newt Gingrich, noted, Clinton's strategic phrasing was quite anti-Obama. Clinton's speech engendered the perception that his successful collaborative efforts with Republicans and his welfare reforms were achievements sorely lacking during Obama's time in office. Benghazi blame game. The 2012 Benghazi attack resulted in the deaths of 4 American citizens, leaving questions about the Obama administration's handling of the situation. In an attempt to avoid responsibility, President Obama sought to place the blame on then-Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. He pushed her to release a fabricated account attributing the attack to a spontaneous reaction to an offensive video rather than the truth of an organized terrorist assault. This maneuver aimed to protect his re-election narrative and fulfilled obligations to other political agendas. Clinton reluctantly took part in the narrative manipulation, realizing that her political future was on the line. During a Senate hearing, Clinton's emotional outburst shocked audiences and began a cycle of speculation and accusation. Simultaneously, her husband Bill grew increasingly suspicious of Obama's commitment to supporting Hillary in the 2016 elections. Unsurprisingly, the entire affair cast a dark shadow over the trust between key political players and left the public questioning their leaders' integrity. Maneuvering amidst challenges. Obama's second term was fraught with difficulties, including a hostile Congress and backlash from the Clintons who sought to capitalize on his missteps. As his administration stalled in crises such as the Obamacare rollout and Syrian conflict, the Clintons positioned Hillary for the 2016 presidential race, strategically distancing themselves from Obama's perceived weaknesses. During Barack Obama's second term as president, myriad challenges arose. Congress was uncooperative, hindering progress on significant proposals. Additionally, the Clintons, once allies, grew resentful, believing that Obama had broken a promise to support Hillary's 2016 presidential bid. In turn, they exploited the administration's weaknesses to bolster her campaign. One notable vulnerability was the disastrous rollout of Obamacare. Hyped as easy as buying a TV on Amazon, the online sign-up process was marred by continuous crashes, incorrect policy information, and dysfunctional registration procedures. Moreover, the pledge to let individuals retain their existing insurance plans proved false, with an estimated 40 to 67% of Americans facing the loss of their coverage. Bill Clinton publicly denounced this fiasco, insinuating that Hillary would not have committed such a rookie error. The ongoing civil war in Syria further tested Obama's leadership. In 2012, he stated that conclusive evidence of chemical weapons use by President Assad on Syrians would cross a red line, necessitating military intervention. However, when such proof emerged, Obama hesitated to act. The Clintons exploited his inaction to expand their political clout. Hillary voiced her preference for more decisive measures in a New York Times interview, while Bill, appearing with Senator John McCain, suggested that Obama's indecisiveness made him look like a wuss and a fool. Ultimately, the Clinton strategic distancing from the Obama administration's perceived failures helped to accumulate political capital for Hillary's presidential campaign. Their maneuvering amid the challenges facing the presidency created an opening to seize the opportunity for a Clinton return to the White House.
In conclusion, Blood Feud, The Clintons versus the Obamas offers a gripping account of the long-standing vendetta between these two influential families. The book uncovers a labyrinth of deceit, manipulation, and revenge, as they navigate the treacherous terrain of politics while feigning cordiality. The public feud also contributed to shaping and influencing the political landscape in the years following the 2008 election. Ultimately, the book draws attention to the darker side of politics, exposing the personal ambitions and power struggles that often define political relationships, even among supposed allies.